Yo, what is up, my fellow British? Your boy Aiming Like 6 Sauce. Today, we about to react to the fighting business. You feel me? The best motherfucking YouTube channel, the document UFC. We already know that. I think I said that shit wrong, but who fucking cares? But we about to react to the 10 most iconic moments from the UFC 200's pay-per-views. Don't get me wrong, we made a like UFC, bro. I can't even lie. Dana White, whatever his fucking name is, Hunter, whatever his name is. These motherfuckers delivered a lot of fights, bro. And let me shut up. Let's watch. Let's see, bro, if these Jones iconic or not. And I'm gonna be honest, bro. I ain't gonna talk too much.
What are you gonna do?
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Told you. We're gonna hang out.
And 100 was special, 200 was special, but for 300, we're building.
Can't lie to y'all, bro. Like, this wouldn't be a problem. Just let me stop.
The greatest card ever assembled.
The UFC is on the cusp of a new century, a new phase, a new era. On April 13th of 2024.
I can't even lie, bro. If Jeffrey Dahmer had me right there and watching UFC, I'd have been like, oh yeah, what's up, nigga? What's up? That shit going pew pew. Straight check, bro. But that was a crazy intro, bro.
UFC 300 will shape the future of the company for a long time to come.
I can't lie, y'all. I know I'm keep pausing it, but I just want to be honest. These are my picks. I'm gonna let y'all know this right now. I don't want nobody else to win. These are my actual picks. I don't want no, like, listen, bro. I'm be honest. If these people don't win, like, my life is just like, UFC already broke my heart a lot of times, you know. That's why I love it. But I'm gonna be honest, bro. I want Pereira to win. I want Charles to win. I want Yuri to win. I want Max to win. And I want Cody Garbrandt to win, bro. Don't forget him in the last part, bro. What? All right.
But before we head into the 300s, let's take a moment to appreciate the yesteryears. It lasted for close to 8 years, from UFC 200 to 299, from 2016 to 2024. The second century of the top MMA organization was one to remember. Mainstream stars, uncomfortable violence.
Hey, come here, this place, and that's it.
Surreal spectacle. The 200s had it all. And today, I'll be recounting the top 10. The fights, the occasions, the storylines, and most importantly, the events we should all be grateful for. Just one nod of appreciation for the past before we head into the unknown future. So, here it goes. McGregor becomes champ at UFC 205.
Facts. Holy shit, facts, bro. I'm not gonna say too.
UFC 205 was the first event in Madison Square Garden. Getting into New York was the last hurdle for the MMA leader, and for the inaugural showing, the UFC arranged a main event worthy of the combat sports mecca. Conor McGregor, a double champion in Cage Warriors, always intended on replicating the feat in the UFC.
The 2 world titles has been a goal of mine. It's been a vision of mine, and that's it.
BJ Penn and Randy Couture were multi-divisional champions, but not a single fighter held 2 belts at the same time. McGregor predicted that he would be the first. At UFC 194, he accomplished the first step when he knocked out Jose Aldo to become the featherweight champion.
Enjoy it, my friend. You deserve it. You called it.
Yeah, from nothing to something to everything.
One title in his possession, and the second was on the line at UFC 205. Eddie Alvarez was the lightweight champion, but he couldn't stop the Mystic Mac prophecy that night.
I'm gonna wrap one on one shoulder, I'm gonna wrap the other on the other shoulder, and you're gonna need a f***ing army to come take them belts off me.
Bro, McGregor's aura back then was just unfucking believable, bro. Like, holy shit, he gave off that Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. Like, he gave off them greatest of all time attitudes, bro. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody say he on fucking drugs, bro. Like, even if this man on drugs, bro, he better come back and do his thing. Like, fuck, he going to get tested anyways, you feel me? So, it's a professional fighter. That's his job. Duh. But
after knocking down Alvarez 4 times in 2 rounds, McGregor strutted around the octagon like he owned it. And on that night, he pretty much did.
Oh, that looks good! Oh.
The first simultaneous double champion crowned at the first event in Madison Square Garden, fitting for such a momentous occasion. The biggest rivalry comes to an end at UFC 214. Jon Jones and
not gonna say too much. Everybody know about this shit, bro. So we just gonna watch right through it, bro. Come on now.
Daniel Cormier were two of the best fighters on the planet in 2017, and they absolutely hated each other.
Daniel, you're weak as today.
Okay.
The prestigious light heavyweight title was of
Jon Jones trash talking, bro, was just so fucking cold. Like, facts.
secondary importance. The rivalry took precedence, and at UFC 214, it came to an end. Jones had never lost the title inside the cage. Cormier had only lost one time in his pro career, and it was against the guy who stood opposite him in the main event of 214. After failing to find closure to the saga at UFC 197 and 200, we were here. The rematch was even more competitive than the first one, and it seemed the two were evenly matched until Jones...
I think a lot of people don't know this, but you can do your research on this. Jon Jones on the face-off, he never looked at his opponents. Now, and everybody who knows, whoever's a UFC fanatic, of course you know that. But on this particular fight, he looked right into Daniel Cormier's eyes and said afterwards, "Respect this man, such and such." I'm just saying. It's not really a big deal, but I'm just saying.
Faked a kick to the body and landed one on the skull. DC was hurt, and Jones showed him no mercy, punching and elbowing him into the shadow realm and reclaiming the title he never lost. The world is watching at UFC 229. Dana White hypes.
This is the best fucking card, the best rival of all time, the best press conference of all time. Slow rat, slow weasel. I saw you with me, chus. Come on, bro.
Pay-per-view like it's
Hey, fellas. Looks like you having a... Let me stop.
the best one in a long time, even the crappy cards, but he didn't say much about UFC 229. He didn't need to, because we knew. It was the biggest, no hyperbole involved, UFC event of all time. The biggest star in the sport, Conor McGregor, made his return to reclaim the title he never lost. But that belt was held by Khabib, an undefeated grappler and someone who hated his guts. Fortunately for us.
Listen, bro. Conor could have won that fight if he wasn't fucking drinking. If he wasn't drinking or popping another Irish whiskey, he would have been cool. He would have won that fucking fight. But no, he lost to this motherfucking weasel, this little rat. Come on, bro. Like,
The feeling was mutual.
I'm gonna put him back to box. I'm gonna put him. Hey.
It was dark, unsettling, and ripe with controversy from start to finish. At the press conference, Conor overstepped every boundary, and during the actual fights, in front of a sold-out arena packed with both the Irish and the Dagestanis, these two met, and Khabib ended up victorious. He retained his title and left no question that he was the...
so we just not gonna talk about how Conor McGregor was the only motherfucker in UFC history, or probably some other guy, I forgot his name, but in UFC history that actually had a good match against Khabib's wrestling. Like, he was atop of him for like a quick second. His defense on the first round was he's pretty solid, bro. If he wasn't drinking, if he would actually took it, high level, he would have won 100%. But Khabib retired, bro. So he can't rematch him. And don't get me wrong, Joe Rogan, he would rematch him. Like, if you don't see when he retired, he was mad because he wanted to rematch him. But it is what it is. Everybody like to talk shit about Conor McGregor. So, I'm not saying I am a fan of McGregor. Don't get the game fucked up. But I just don't like how people disrespect my mans like this, man. All the shit he done for the sport. Shit crazy.
The lineal king, but he wanted to raise more hell, and he did.
And now Khabib jumps the fence. Whoa! No! And he's going right at Dylan Dennis.
The brawl inside and outside the cage was a fitting conclusion to Khabib versus McGregor. The world was indeed watching and enjoying every fucking second of it. 5 seconds at UFC 239.
This was okay.
In 2019, Jorge Masvidal was one of the hottest acts in the UFC. After a 2-year hiatus, Gamebred came back as a bad and violent motherfucker, no longer coasting to decisions and actively looking to kill.
Oh man, if I had won that decision, where would I be in my career, right? And then I stopped myself and I go, that's the problem right there. I've been thinking like a peasant this whole time. How about if I ended those dudes, if I baptized them and send them off to the shadow realm? What would happen then?
He made an example out of Darren Till, but to truly become a star, he needed a big stage, a loud mouth to silence, and the perfect burst of violence. At UFC 239, it all aligned. Ben Askren had talked a lot and seemed to be living rent-free in Masvidal's head.
Besides that, George is making excuses the whole week about why he didn't want to fight.
He's good. He's just not good enough.
Talk that shit now, baby! Talk that shit now, baby!
But once these two were inside the cage, Masvidal looked calm. So calm that he was chilling against the cage when the bout began. Askren plodded forward while Masvidal ran, jumped into the air, smashed his knee against Askren's head, and took his soul. You blinked once and you missed it. 5 seconds. It took 5 seconds for Masvidal to cement his new persona, and on a card stacked with names such as Jones and Nunes, this was the highlight UFC 239 was remembered for. The best women's MMA fight of all time at UFC.
Bro, holy shit. They never told a lie.
UFC 248. For years, women's MMA gave us.
I'm sorry, like, I know I might get like questions for this. I know I might be like, you know, but I gotta get off my chest. I don't like seeing like girls fight in the UFC. I'm gonna be honest. Like the only women I was actually interested in seeing fighting that made the fightings like excitement was more like Amanda Nunes, Rose Namajunas, her right here. You feel me? Hoyana, Zui Lee, like there's no like women aggressor fighters. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like I can watch it, but sometimes I just like get on my phone, probably just say, you know, who cares? Like, it's just personally, it's just I want it to be more aggressive. I know they're fighting, they're getting paid, they want to be technical, but I don't know. I think because like my favorite fighter right now, my #1 fighter is Charles Oliveira, and I've been seeing him just be a berserk and low key. He just been like dominating. So I just feel like, you know, women division could be like a little better, have more spark has it how it used to be, but it is what it is.
Was good, entertaining fights, but it lacked that one war that
like Holly Holm too. Like, don't get me wrong, she fucking beast.
That would be remembered forever. It took time to find the right athletes to put on such a show, but at UFC 248, we got it. A women's MMA bout that shunned every other.
This was the one.
Weili Zhang had just won the strawweight title, and in her first defense, she had to beat the greatest champion the division ever had, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. The previously undefeated Joanna was 2-3 in her last 5. This was her last shot at gold, and sure as hell fought like everything was on the line. Close to 800 strikes attempted, 400 or so landed, most of them on the face. 0 takedowns, 0 knockdowns, but at the end of the final bell, one look at their faces and you knew that women's MMA had made it.
This fight, let's break it down. Awesome. If I was to use a word, awesome.
What did you think of the co-main event?
Yeah, no, I knew that fight was going to be incredible. Both of these women are incredibly talented.
This was the Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner of women's mixed martial arts, and considering what followed in the main event, I was glad. And on that night, every single person in the arena was grateful because Weili and Joanna saved the card. The return at UFC 260.
Can't lie to y'all. Can't lie. Not really a fan of this fight. Only because my man Masvidal got knocked out, and because Usman is just like, I like Usman, don't get me wrong, I fuck with Usman. But I just feel like when he was champion, it was something different about him. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's like when you up, everybody gotta hate you. When you down, everybody start loving you. I think it's that type energy towards him, but at the same time, like, I do fuck with him. But when I see him fight Leon Edwards, the first time was like magical. The second time was more so like, come on, bro, you could have actually like, you know, did more. But his striking is just, I'm not a fan of his striking, bro. I just feel like he gives off Aljamain Sterling striking. Like, he leans in with his strikes. So it is what it is, though. You know.
When the COVID pandemic halted every sport in the world, Dana White was not ready to shut down the company as other leagues had. The show went on. They fought, they entertained, but in an empty arena.
We're moving forward with all our UFC live events, but we're going to adapt to these unprecedented circumstances. Some of the events will be moved from their original host city to the UFC Apex here in Las Vegas.
This arrangement went on for a while until UFC 261, which was a return back to the norm. In Jacksonville, Florida, the UFC made a grand return. UFC 261 was loaded from the prelims to the main card, and the headline fight was a rematch between Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. Usman had been ruling the welterweight division for a while now, but fans, media, and Masvidal himself were all still yapping.
I don't need nobody. I'll whoop your ass all by myself.
You said that last time. What happened?
Yeah. You know what happened? You rubbed feet with me. I thought you
What
wanted to
happened?
fight.
You said that last time.
You rubbed your
You just fucking just wrestled him, bro. Like,
feet on mine pretty well. You're pretty good at rubbing my feet, bro.
And of all the superlatives.
A vicious knockout from a wrestler delivered to a striker who had never been finished before. No one saw that coming, but it was appropriate, and Kamaru Usman stamped his claim as pound-for-pound king and a legend of our sport. The UFC was indeed back in full business. A new star is born at UFC 274.
the champion has a name, and it's Charles "The Bronx" Oliveira.
It was my last fight.
After the retirement of Khabib, the lightweight division needed a new champion, an anchor, a star. The vacant title was won by Charles Oliveira, but he needed a few more wins to solidify himself and move the division away from the shadow of the undefeated Dagestani, who retired not too long ago. Charles defeated both Chandler and Poirier, but the comparisons never stopped. At 274, he was set to face Justin Gaethje, possibly one of his most difficult.
Look at that fucking suit, nigga. Look at this fucking suit, my niggas. Y'all niggas tripping. Y'all see this motherfucking suit right here, bro? No, wait. You see this motherfucking suit right here? Look at this. Look at this fucking GTA 5 good-looking suit right here, man. Look at this clap. This is why he look. You feel me? The camera is pointed on who? Charles.
Matchups. Fight week for the champion was rough, and some trouble at the scale led to the UFC stripping Charles of the lightweight title.
55.5.
Technically, he never lost his title, so that means him facing Islam Makhachev, when he fought him the first time, he didn't lose his title. He just lost the title fight. I get the difference. So that's why them rematching is so anticipated, because I do want to see Charles Oliveira fight again. I felt like he fought so much. He needed to. He's going to get the belt, bro. He's going to knock out Arman, whatever his fucking name is. He's going to make him look like a fucking worm. And then he's going to get that title fight. You know what I'm saying? I think Dustin's next, but who knows?
The title is currently vacant.
The deck was stacked against Charles, but it only served to piss him off. No sane lightweights walks down Justin Gaethje, but Charles Oliveira did, and knocked him down. The crowd that was booing him changed its tune real quick when Charles submitted Justin Gaethje, and even with no belt around his waist, everyone knew the champion's name. UFC 274 was a step in the right direction for the lightweight division. We weren't living in the post-Khabib era anymore. We were in the era of Du Bronx. Don't let him bully you, son. At UFC 274.
Don't let him bully us, son.
78. At UFC 235, Kamaru Usman ragdolled Tyron Woodley to win the welterweight title, and the haunting began for the poor welterweight contenders. For the next 3 years, Usman managed 5 title defenses, and we all
against 2 of the same people
thought he was unstoppable, but that reign came to an end.
And Gilbert.
At the hands of an unlikely foe, in the climax of an unlikely event, UFC 278. Leon Edwards had lost to Usman before, and despite a strong first round, it looked like he was going to lose to him again. He looked broken, defeated, and almost scared of the Nigerian nightmare, but his coach, before the start of the final round, yelled some sense and confidence into him, bringing him back to life.
Come on, don't make him bully you, Leon. Don't let him bully your son.
With less than a minute left on the clock, Leon Edwards crashed his shin against Usman's head and left him unconscious on the floor. That head kick at UFC 278 was heard across head and left him unconscious on the That head kick at UFC 278 was heard across the MMA sphere. It ended the long reign of Kamaru Usman and woke up the welterweight from what seemed like an endless nightmare.
Look at me now! Pound for pound! Headshot dead! That's it!
Finally, at UFC 287.
Pereira should have won, man. I fuck with Izzy, but I feel like Pereira just chama.
Alex Pereira had one of the quickest and most ruthless ascensions in recent memory. He was already a decorated combat sports athlete when he made his UFC debut, and after a few impressive victories, he faced Israel Adesanya, someone he had beaten twice in kickboxing. UFC 281 was a nightmare come true for Israel. He lost his title and his undefeated record at middleweight to someone he could not afford to lose. Across 2 combat sports, Izzy was down 0-3, and this is where most people give up and accept the other guy as the better man. But Adesanya didn't and called for an immediate rematch.
Given all that, do you believe, a rematch, is that what you're going to hunt?
Of course. Come on, man.
UFC 287 was supposed to be the end of the rivalry, and consequently of Israel Adesanya. This feud, which spanned years and took place across two different sports, did come to an end at UFC 287, but concluded in a way very few expected. Finally, Israel, who had come this close to finishing Alex multiple times before, put his boogeyman out cold with a right hand from hell.
I hope every one of you behind the screens on this arena can feel this level of happiness just one time in your life.
And then lost it to motherfucking Strickland.
UFC 287 was possibly the last we saw of Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya, a combat feud unlike any other. Islam asserts his dominance at UFC 294.
Hold up. Are we talking about the fight he almost died in?
Islam Makhachev was supposed to be the next Khabib, and we had good reason to believe so after he submitted Charles at UFC 280. Unfortunately, a lot of questions were raised in his first title defense when the featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski, took him to a hard-fought decision. According to some, Volkanovski was the actual lightweight champion because he was robbed of a decision.
That's insane. He got robbed. He got fucking robbed.
I heard a whisper, I could be wrong, that he was going back to his corner saying he wants a rematch because he thought he lost. So that's funny. I would jump on that. Rematch.
The rematch had to happen at some point, and it happened fairly soon after the first bout at UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi. Short notice fights, different rehydration protocols in Abu Dhabi, there were factors at play, but Islam, who had been claiming all week that he would put an end to it, did it in a way that left no doubt. A head kick knockout in the first, and the sight of Alexander the Great unconscious against the cage, while Islam just walked away, shushing everyone who doubted him. At UFC 294, we were all served a reminder. The lightweight division still belonged to Khabib's successor, Islam Makhachev, and good luck dethroning him. The biggest stars ever seen, multiple records set and broken, incredibly vicious knockouts, and most
Why the fuck is Joaquin Buckley on here?
importantly, the most
Jacqueline, whatever the name is.
amazing fights. I know we blast the company for bullshit matchmaking and slimy negotiation tactics, but it's hard to deny that this time period was a golden age for the promotion. From the first UFC pay-per-view to 100, it was about building a foundation. From UFC 100 to 200, it was about growth. 200 to 300, mixed martial arts rose to unforeseen heights and was the only sport that went on when everyone else lost hope and bunkered down. 300 onwards, maybe world fucking domination, I don't know. But I can promise you this, I'll be here, covering this incredible sport.
Get YouTube SEO Master.
Yes, sir. Let's be honest. He missed one card, and the card that he missed, UFC 295, when my man's Alex Pereira captured a light heavyweight title, and he fucking beat Jan Blachowicz. So let's show some love to fucking Chama.